All right, we are back. Apologies for the delay. We had some unfortunate technical issues, but if you can cast your mind way back to when we discussed the veto, Mirage will be the first map picked up by Sangal, of course, starting over on the T side as B8, while they look to open their account on CT against what is looking to be a straight A execute, Dean.
Yeah, keeping it simple. There's going to be dual Berettas up close though on ramp, so this should be interesting. His owner prepares to hopefully mow them down. He's already gotten two of them. It's just two separated. It's one by one. As the other dual Beretta is up on top of Palace. Also, there's some fruits. It's going to be LNZ all alone now. 1-on-4. His chances pretty slim, I would say, of getting anything done here. A couple consolation kills would be nice. No one's even bothering to give him the peek at this point, so his chances are pretty slim of really finding anything.
He's got half a chance here because they have started to think about the rotations.
Yeah.
However, with Amster spotting him out, that should now be game over. There's a man in Palace and MPL who can flank out if he wants. Instead, Captain Kirka is going to look to lock him in. And for LNZ, as you said, consolation kills really all he can hope for. He manages to nab one, free-firing beautifully onto MPL on the swing, but Wrinkle is immediately there to clean up house. And, well, it's the dual Berettas to get the overwhelming majority of the work done. Owner up close on the ramp, as you said. MPL from inside of Palace. And that's about as smooth a pistol round as B8 could have hoped for.
Yeah, the dual Berettas do not work like that for me, unfortunately. I always try. I'm like, you know what? I love watching them. Maybe I'm on an Inferno, get them up close, bam, get glocked in the face. But yeah, it's gonna be what, a single 2 P250s actually being bought up there on the T side, so they've opted for the full-on eco. No bomb plant, of course. Otherwise, we might have seen the littles come out. Or that nade should do some pretty solid damage. The second one indeed lands some. It's gonna be followed up by the aggression of Wrinkle, who mows down 3. And really, if they push out to get that M4, they're just gonna be finished off quickly. And there you have it. One casualty. The M4 should be recovered. Is it gonna be? There we go. Yeah, one of the MP9s picked it up.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, it is a little bit of an interesting decision to have the M4A1 push up top mid rather than one of the MP9s. They had the MP9 holding window and the 4A1 pushing, but
based on spawns for the drop, maybe the M4 probably dropped down to get in close and took in if no one actually came out mid and watched the push, probably. Maybe. It's definitely the wrong way around, but it must have been based on spawns because these players are pretty smart. They know what they're doing.
Gloss over it for now, however, as again, Sangal setting up early towards this A site. 4 players ready and waiting. MPL flashed off his first angle of choice, and he doesn't know that he's been bypassed, but it's an awkward fight for Sorcel, and he loses out. Man advantage there for the CT side, as now Sangal look to spring the trap. 4 players to try and stack up over towards this A site. 2 in connector for the CT side already. Owner there. LNZ does very well half blind to find a trade. With yet more presence out towards short, Captain Kirk goes 1 for 1, but that's all he needed to do if his teammate could respond. Owner leaves him out to dry, gets caught freely. LNZ again half blind, finds a headshot onto Wrinkle. And somehow, with 4 kills in the round, he's on for the ace, looking for the clutch, and he's got it in the 1v1. All 5 kills for LNZ, and that should be just the spark Sangal need to bring themselves to life.
Ooh. The FAMAS, just not the weapon you want in that situation. You need that instant dink, otherwise the spray can be a little bit difficult to tame, and that's what we've seen. LNZ with the confidence as well, just absolutely popping off, single-handedly winning them that round, literally. And that's going to be a heartbreaker for B8. They've put together the best buy they can. 2 M4s, some pistols, some very, very, very little utility. No kit in play either. So it's going to be a tough one. Ryan straight up on taking a couple of early aim duels, I was going to say, with those rifles, and unfortunately they don't work out. LNZ with the initial frag is going to continue on. He has a little bit of help from QB, and already you're into the 5-on-3 here. That really shouldn't be too much trouble for Sangal to handle.
It's a really nice start. A little bit of a miracle round for Sangal in the previous. This one looking much cleaner. Captain Kirk are going to be put under pressure from all sorts of angles, and there's just nothing he can do. Wrinkle's got a recovered rifle, but it's a clean 1-for-1 trade. And at this point, I mean, exits for Owner would be decent. Saving one of those rifles, if he can find anything salvaged on the floor, would be even better. And that one round, that one moment of magic from LNZ is coming back to bite B8 early. Should have been an eco, this one. A relatively easy one to mop up at that, if not for LNZ's antics. Continuing his streak, 8-2. I mean, considering there's 4 kills across the rest of his team combined, that is pretty ridiculous. Owner will just about be able to save this Deagle into the next, but it's going to be a very slim pickings for the CT side regardless. So Sangal, well set now on their T side.
Terrorists win.
Owner will survive with the armor and his Deagle at least, but that's likely all they're going to have. Just about 2,000 on the majority of players. Maybe Wrinkle buys a pistol, but wouldn't expect much more than that. So Sangal should have a fairly easy 3-2 scoreline here. And as we said, they got pretty fortunate with the way that this Veto went down. We were expecting B8 to try and go for a bit more of a punish pick with maybe a Vertigo in there, but that didn't happen. Instead, you get Mirage, Ancient, and Anubis, 3 maps that are, well, solid for both teams. We still felt like B8 should have had at least one map in this Veto where they had an almost, okay, yeah, they're certainly that. We don't have any situations like that. This is going to be a close game throughout, I'd imagine. Trouble here. You've been forced right into the arms of 2 players coming out of ramp. Kangino, of course, a player that we have to mention. You did give him a brief mention earlier on before the game started, but that was ages ago, so he is first stepping in. But Panics haven't moved off of the line. Trade there on mid. That's a weapon at least recovered. They should be saving that and then maybe sending these 2 pistols in, and they might have a chance at maybe stealing even 1 or 2 more rifles. And considering they didn't invest anything into this round, even just the 1 AK is already a pretty good recovery.
It's not a bad result at all. Sangal going to their bread and butter again. That 1 man lurking out mid, 4 into the A play. And with MPL and Captain Kirker, I mean, they're not in bad positions to look for exits. The footsteps should be heard as well, so you've got to imagine they'll start to think about hunting and just getting something out of this round at the death, but, well, maybe not, given they're exiting through mid. Fair enough. As you look across that money on the CT side, though, it is going to be a decent enough buy. I mean, Owner saving that AK is really, really positive. Can drop across if needed, but it looks like they will be able to scrape it together regardless. Question is, what can they offer on these rifles, and can they start to shut down the threats? Because Sangal, after initially looking quite lackluster against the pistol and conversion, have found their feet with the rifles rather rapidly. And with a buy in the bank as well. It's going to take a little bit of something special from B8 to turn the tide at this moment. 3 players into Palace early on for Sangal. Again, looking to target this A site. Sorcel and LNZ just holding passively towards top mid. Really no presence anywhere else on the map at the minute.
This is going to be an interesting swarm out Palace, potentially, after that smoke fades away. We'll see. They haven't really moved in for the mid control yet. Ideally, they would have wanted some presence around connector to keep a player busy. Instead,
here you go. Smokes.
Yeah, only now they're beginning to move in. It's going to be a bit late on the push, unfortunately. NPL crosses to the stairs. They do manage to get out Palace and get a little bit of presence towards ramp as well. Team Smokes, they want to take this fight towards the steps. NPL gives it up happily and decides to just keep the numbers for now, hoping that they'll be able to work in towards this retake with the 5-on-5.
They got a little bit of util, but not a lot. MPL gets a critical kill. Kyubi goes down. Buys the 4-on-5 with a man still lurking in towards mid as well, with Captain Kirker deals with handily. Just thinning the numbers of this T side before they've even got to the site bomb. About a third of the way ticked, and there's still 3 players to clear out here. If Youngster can get a couple, then that could really open the door. Pop flashed into the angle. He manages to find 1, but the trades are quickly found by the CT side to leave LNZ. A 1v4, but that bomb is well planted for him, and he sprays down 2. Hits are available on the ground, and Wrinkle has managed to pick 1 up, but this is going to be mighty close. I think he's just about skimmed it. It's very, very sketchy. The ramp player does very well to spray down 2. LNZ very nearly the hero once again, but time just about on the CT side.
Yeah, I think he was fairly close on controlling that spray, but maybe if he abandoned the spray after the second kill, tried to just waste the extra second, that probably would have done it for him. Even just forcing that player to have to swing slightly wider on the angle from behind triple probably would have been the little bit of extra time that he needed. But obviously in the middle of the battle, you already got 2 instant kills. You're feeling confident that you can get that towards him when they're perfectly lined up. It is unfortunate. Obviously I'm Captain Hindsight, but here we go. Very crucial round for both teams. The CT side just about scraping the buy back together after losing a couple extra players towards the end of the round there when it could have been cleaner. Sangal, they want to try and immediately break that economy.
In a good position to do so. Well financed themselves. Gangino's been posted on the ramp, but for now, nobody to trouble his crosshairs. And other than that, a relatively passive lean to start things off for Sangal. They got a little bit of presence in towards mid. Once again, Sourcel trusted with that. The odd prod and poke towards B from Youngster, but really nothing particularly fruitful. So the mid smokes will come out again, and we're going back to Old Faithful. 4 players up towards A. It's going to be 3 towards Palace. Youngster to try and draw attention from the ramp. It's something you normally only really see on sort of half buys and ecos when you look to pop out and just catch someone off guard. But Sangal clearly feel the success has been had previously. They're going to go for it again. This time, though, Owner is ready and waiting. A quick double spray down. That's bombed down in no man's land. Wrinkle there to back his man up towards the ramp. And well, that is why you don't go for a Palace pop on a full buy, because that rifle just chews through the bodies. 25 seconds left. And I mean, at this point, as money as it is, I think Sourcel and Gangino might do well just to hold on to the rifles they've got.
Yeah, it's such a difficult angle to work from. You've got to be careful of stairs, immediately interrupt close. There's obviously the bottom of the steps, they can be in jungle as well as your cross, and there's so many different spots you have to worry about. And the second the first player's noticed, all attention goes straight towards that single choke point. So even if the first player maybe finds a little bit of success in getting a few steps out, usually that choke point, unfortunately, is just a bit too tough to funnel out of. That's why you throw the flashes and you jump with the pistols as well. You try and get out onto that site as quick as you possibly can. More about overwhelming than trying to trade effectively like it would be if you were just coming out of ramp, for example.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of an odd call to make. They have managed to string another buy together, though, off the back of those 2 saved rifles. Decent amount of loss bonus in the bank.
Lil's really the only weakness. LNZ's popping off at the moment. I do like this under aggression from NPL. We haven't seen it yet. And they are somewhat leaning in that direction towards B as well. He's made his position now, knowing though with that molly leaving, they've already pushed out towards top mid. That's not the case though. It's just one player holding passively. They've kind of shown their hand with a little bit of utility, so the CTs are definitely cautious of it. But right now, Sangal again are just grouping it up, this time in towards the apartments. Or maybe not.
Oh, if they'd gone there, not that they're to know, but they'd actually caused 3 CT rotates over towards the A site. And a very heavy A rotation as well. Would have been a long time for the support lines to be ran towards B, so a little unfortunate. Timing not quite with them. Instead, mid-util goes out again. This seems to be a fairly consistent theme. They drop these 2 smokes, look to take the control. This time it's out mid rather than the A site. Nothing doing for either side, though. Wrinkle not quite able to hit the shot. Sourcel, whilst he's managed to lurk up towards Connector, is just going to be a bit of a red herring. In the hopes of keeping these CT players busy over towards A, it's going to be on to Amster and Captain Kirtka with a fast rotation from Wrinkle as well, so it's decently red by the CT side at the moment, and oh, that's a shoulder. Spotted, dealt with by MPL, and now this is going to be a little bit of a blunt hit. There's no second string, nothing to stop these rotations coming in. Amster gets one, and with a molly going down, I mean, it completely stalls out Sangal's offensive. They've got to back away from this. And with just 15 seconds left on the clock, I don't think they're going to be doing anything except holding on to those rifles, Dean.
Yeah, it looks to be the only option, completely locked out of sight. 6 seconds, of course, they're just hoping no one tries to hunt it, and BA aren't going to bother. They have a chance to build some really strong economy on top of what was already a base that was starting to get there. They had about 2,000, I think, each before this, at least. Now they've got a really good economy to rebuy into those nades. Obviously, again, with a few rifles saved, we might see Sangal try and salvage together an investment, at least pistol and armor probably on the 2 players, because they have 2,900 loss bonus. But it's, again, not quite perfect. And as you can see, Sangal themselves are probably starting to stress a bit as they call this pause in, because this is their map choice. Ancient up next, sure, it's a map that Sangal are capable of playing. It's actually their 2nd most played map in recent times, I believe. But it's B8's most played map by far, and they have some really good stats there as well.
Clearly a map they're going to be feeling confident on. And I mean, we spoke about Sangal tending to lean T. Need to see a little bit of something out of them. I mean, if you discount LNZ's miracle round and the follow-up from that, this is a very different picture. Like we said, he really did drag them kicking and screaming into this game early on. Need a little bit of magic again from him. This buy off the back of the 3 saved bits and bobs isn't the best in the world. Youngster drops to the tech. Couple of Galils for Sorcel and LNZ. Missed
that
nade
wasn't
lined up from
ideal.
Wrinkle. Just tickles him.
Did he click the wrong mouse button? That's what it looked like. I think he meant to press both of them and get kind of the mid throw so he could arch it down
Yeah.
into under. Instead, I think he only right clicked it somehow.
Little unfortunate.
It's the release in the at a weird order rather than at the same time. Either way, it wasn't too much damage. We'll get away with it. He just doesn't really know what's going on in mid anymore. Need to give it up.
And that has, again, opened up a lot of map control for Sangal. The problem is they've been getting this map control relatively freely. We've seen Sorcel more often than not posted in towards middle, right? They just haven't found a way to turn this into success. Maybe this is the time to change that picture. Gangino working his way up towards short. Couple of players looking to press Con with the AWP there to provide overwatch. Spotted out, legged onto Wrinkle. Can't quite land his shot. And that's going to open up the pathway now. 2 CT players taking ramp in the meanwhile is the counterplay. And it's a solid call at that. Will give them a fantastic opportunity on this retake. It's going to be a game of timing. So Gangino thinking about it, hits his shot beautifully. Owner goes down. And now with the bomb plant coming in, it's a 4-on-5 retake for the CTs to try and consider. MPL so unlucky with that timing. Very nearly nails it. Instead, a couple of quick trades keep his team in this in the 3-on-3. MPL's position known. Molotov licking at the feet of Gangino, trying to force him into the process, but nothing's seen yet. And LNZ and Gangino are ready for it. A killer piece, and that's game over. Wrinkle on 3 HP is going to have to go through the... well, go to Narnia to try and save at this point. He's going to be found freely by Kyubi. And that's better. That's more like it from Sangal. The mid control comes through and they manage to convert it into something, splitting the CT defense well and executing cleanly onto the A-bomb site.
Yeah, and if they can crack through that defense one more time, they should force an eco out of BA. So this is a chance for them to snatch up control towards the end of this half and finish it off potentially even 7-5. Which would be a pretty good recovery after obviously starting off okay, but then going down 5-3, I believe. So, yeah, after a big loss of a streak of rounds not going their way, they have a chance here to really turn the tide of the game. Wrinkle aggressive through under with the up, though. He's ready for the peak. Ooh. Doesn't quite land it, unfortunately. Initial damage actually comes in elsewhere onto a friend there as NPL gets tagged up a bit. They decide they want to try and challenge on mid. There's only one player here, though. He's keeping them busy. Unfortunately, not that busy. The smoke faded away and left them very in the open.
I think they dropped the HE into it as well, just to pop it to get the info.
Well, we only seen it from the short player's perspective. I didn't know it was a nade, so he popped out, the smoke was gone, that's all I seen. Either way, yeah, very effective strategy. It meant made sure that they didn't have to stick around on mid, wait for that to fade away, see what that player was doing. In the meantime, the B hit probably would have come in and said they dealt with it immediately, and knowing that they even budge off that B-bomb site.
Missed mid smoke as well is going to give vision to MPL. And again, the CT side of BA are well placed to deal with this. With that mid control contested at the very least. Last round you saw it go south. Wrinkle misses a nade into a smoke and suddenly he can't hold any kind of angle. Now MPL continuing to find impact in mid, and Wrinkle, despite being blinded, finds his. This round starts to fall apart at the seams. Youngster's doing what he can. He's managed to find one, and that's a shot from Wrinkle to leg up his man. Yubi will find the kill in response, but it's a 1v3 for the, well, recovered AWP to try and stitch together. A plant would be good. The financial situation isn't fantastic, and there's no offensive utility for this CT side to try and flush that out. No HEs, no Molotovs. It's just going to have to be taken on the fights here. First shot baited out, not quite able to capitalize. However, now MPL just shouldering the angle, trying to buy some space and some time, and Amster will be there to clean up house. Before that one gets too sketchy, it will be B8 putting a 6th on the board. The question is, where will the finances be for Sangal? It's not great. Kyubi and LNZ both struggling as we get right down to the death of this first half.
Yeah, Amster had a really slow start to this. He just wasn't able to get the wheel going, but it's good to see him finding some form. Not a great looking buy. I was going to say they might even eco for that final round, get some pistols and Kevlar, and yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case. For a second, I thought they were going to buy rifles. Youngster did spend a bit, decided to sell it off. An early miscommunication, of course. That's the positive now of being able to sell those weapons. You see a lot less, I would say, hasty force buys.
Yeah, the problem they had is with that 2400 loss bonus, they're just not in a position to really bring anything into this round. It's been so back and forth that at no point has their loss bonus built up to a point where they're feeling confident enough to go for this. NPL finds an early kill, a missed HE to follow.
Right.
Owner just tanks that one. Somehow doesn't take any damage despite being hit by it, but we'll ignore that and go on.
Armor, I'd say. Oh, jump into the window though. I believe. No, he didn't fully commit. I don't believe to it. There's a player watching jungle as well. That's Wrinkle. They know they're up against pistols. They don't want to get too aggressive right now. They're waiting for that push to come forward. They have that man advantage. They have the weapons advantage. Sangal at the moment have hit a bit of a brick wall on this T side. Again, remember, they got those 3 rounds very early on. Since then, only 1 sandwiched in between a lot of B8 wins. Oh, yep. Slow. Wrinkle does get the damage done on this follow-up shot. Unfortunately, that leaves him exposed for that aggression. Finally needing to commit towards window, and Youngster again. He unfortunately only gets the chance to pop off when they're severely outnumbered. But he's given LNZ a chance to maybe do something in this 1-on-2. We need some nice deagle shots though.
Early kill towards the ramp gave him a little bit of hope, but Owner just driving by on the MP9 before it gets too sketchy is able to take his man down, and the buy will still be decent into the last round of the half for B8. Maybe sacrificing a couple nades, a little bit of utility, a couple of defuse kits perhaps, but it's not a bad look at all, and as they start to drop around, it's even better than I thought it was going to be. So no real consequence to that round going a little sideways in the mid. And Sangal with one opportunity to drag this one back. 7-5 would be a solid old half. 8-4. Well, it feels like a very different beast, right? It's the 11-4 of our time. It just feels that little bit sketchier. Heavy B presence to start things off, though, for Sangal. Just Sorcel. Clearly the lurk, this time left solo out towards A. The difference is B8 have gone very heavy into a mid play to try and take that information and control away, and they've actually left B open for the meanwhile. Just about rotating back in as a fast-paced play comes out. They're trying to up the pace here, Sangal, trying to catch B8 off guard, and they do get an early opening, but almost immediately NPL is there. Inside the market, 2 kills and a huge amount of damage to follow. Owner immediately just dinks and deals with the lurk, and it leaves Ganguinho and LNZ. A 2v4 to try and puzzle out. Flank coming in from Wrinkle, but on the AWP, it's not the ideal weapon. We'll have to give away a sound cue as he scopes up. Couple of players towards short. And now NPL. Owner gets the early headshot clean. LNZ is left alone. A 1v3 now as Wrinkle switches to the Deeg, tries to isolate these fights, and it's not even needed. Captain Kirka finds his man, and as we head to the half, it will be 8-4. A solid CT haul from B8.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Nothing but the fading light.
Well, a tough first half for Sangal on their map pick as they go 8-4 down to B8. A little moment of magic, really, the only thing that kept them in the half. And in need of a pretty monumental CT haul here to keep their hopes alive. Early smokes go out from B8 and they are wasting no time on their T-side pistol. Fast out into the A site. Control taken towards Jungle. Wrinkle with the upgraded P250. Already ripping the head off of Youngster to find his team the 5-on-4 as that bomb gets planted. MPL will be taken out though, and Sorcel's managed to find a kill out and nothing as well. This gets very sketchy as Amster tries to tip the scales back in his team's favour. Owner does exactly that with a very swift kill, and Captain Kirker immediately in with 2 more. For a split second that looked sketchy, Dean, but almost immediately B8 are able to find the way to victory.
Yeah, now this is big trouble for Sangal. We know Ancient up next is a fantastic map for B8, and well, honestly, Mirage was where we thought Sangal had a good chance of getting it done. We did say probably on the T side, that didn't happen. Now we said they needed the pistol here on CT, and fortunately they fell short there as well, despite a decent start in the round. You can see the force buy, it's a little bit desperate. They get what they can, pistols and MP9, and their limited utility as well. Well, I hope that they can pull something off here, otherwise it's an eco and they don't see guns until they're already down 11-4, and it'll need to be perfection on that CT side.
Yeah, it's a tough old one to crack. Mid-control already lost, just don't have the firepower or the utility to really contest that. The counter is aggression in towards Palace, and they've managed to get Sorcel into a solid enough spot. Youngster playing up close and personal with that 5-7, always handy. A split looks very likely though, and with Youngster being spotted out, a 2-3 split onto this A site could do a lot of heavy lifting. Youngster and Sorcel up close and personal towards ramp, need to get it all done here. Youngster spotted out in the open is an easy enough find, however, and now that MP9 of Sorcel has really got to do it all because he's losing teammates left, right and centre. Hoping by lurking in the Palace, I think that he was going to be able to get the drop on someone, but with 2 teammates already gone and no casualties inflicted, instead, that lurk into Palace turns into a save in Palace. Knowing, as you said, that the eco is to follow, 2 deagles and an MP9 gives them a little more bite to match their bark, and they need something just to try and thin the numbers, because this is another flawless round for B8. All 5 alive, all the rifles not taking any damage. It's the MAC-10s of MPL and Wrinkle that do take the tags, but they take them on the chin, they get the job done, and B8 have double digits.
What the hell?
It's
one of those
okay,
games.
that's awkward.
Sasso gets himself a bit of an upgrade.
Okay.
Just about survived that bomb explosion as well. It was pretty close. But now they have a Galil to go alongside those pistols. Not a bad recovery. BA end up losing 2 players instead of having a perfect round. It was a strange one. I don't know if it was a team kill on purpose or just, I'm presuming they lined up and one of them got shot in the back of the head. Either way, they both end up dying in the long run, and see if it comes back to bite them potentially, to give an opportunity to Sangal to start a comeback. It could allow them to get that economic break just a little bit earlier on.
Oh, I like this call. Straight into the full A execute. No messing about. Just get everything out in one place. Overwhelm. You know you've got the firepower advantage here.
Taking their time,
Molotov
though.
goes out to clear.
It's allowed a big rotation.
Yeah. A little slower than I would have hoped for, certainly, and that's going to allow the Galila Sorcerer to be right where it needs to be. Early kill found. Need to find this trade now. B8, it gets a little sketchy for them. Amster at least got 1, and through the smoke he does find that Galil, finds his mark. At the very least, that should be a recoverable rifle. Yubi's going fishing inside of the smoke and has managed to nab it, but does he really want to commit to giving this one a go? It's a 3-on-4, so it will be tempting. The damage on Amster will really want to draw them in, but there's not a lot of toys left in the toy box. Owner gets 1, quickly traded away though, and Kyubi able to find a double on that recovered Galil has brought them right back into this one. Captain Kirk has got to stay alive because there's a flank coming in all the while for MPL, and he does just that, buys just enough time. It's a little sketchy around the edges. A couple of what should have been clean-cut shots not quite landing for B8, but they get the job done regardless. And now it is crunch time for Sangal. 11-4 down. The rifles come out and they have to work.
Yeah, last chance here to get something going. At the very least, hopefully warm themselves up before a very difficult Ancient that's going to be coming up as well next. Could be on an AUG. Interesting choice. See how that works out for me. He's playing towards mid, I presume. Yeah, indeed, he's playing from window, so it makes sense in that position. Unfortunately, he's likely going to have to retake it towards the A-bomb site instead, unless his teammates can hold it off, of course. But the nades are heavy. There seem to know youngsters in Sandwich. Yeah,
there you go.
Is naded and finished off. So that gives them back to 4-on-4, and it's still very early in the round. So I was going to say it's unlikely that they still decide to commit to this A play. And they're just going to back out. They have a player at top mid who can start establishing a bit of control. They can make sure no one's pushed apps, and well, then they have a decent position to make a decision about what they want to do. Likely to move in further and get this actual mid control.
Still a good amount of utility on their backs as well. Definitely options, as you said. I think it's a little keen to wander into the CT angle on a buy round, and they do get punished for it, but able to find the response. Now the question is, what can Kyubi do? Nothing doing. Wrinkle takes his man down cleanly. Amster grabs another in towards mid, and this is falling apart. Ganginho still posted towards CT, means LNZ is the only defender of this B bomb site for now. And he's going to have a lot of presence headed his way. Amster is tagged up, so that should be a relatively free kill. The trade not quite quick enough to come through, so Wrinkle has to go mopping up the pieces, and it gives Ganginho half a chance here in a 1v2. Plant will come in. He hasn't got a kit at the minute. I'm not sure if there is one dropped in towards mid, or maybe even on short, which is where he's looking ahead. LNZ's body. Oh, the timing is nasty. The Molotov buys so much time. Not seeing any kit on the ground either, so a full 10-second required as Ganginho's now got to clear the whole site with this AWP. Nothing spotted, nothing gained. Grabs one on the second peek onto Wrinkle. But with that bomb already halfway ticked, yeah, I don't think there's any world in which he can realistically commit to it. Has to fall away, has to consider saving the AWP, and has to concede map point on his team's map pick to B8.
Yeah, this really isn't the performance we were hoping for from Sangal. It was promising in the early moments. Obviously, we had a close scoreline for those first 6 or so rounds, but it's fallen apart since then. They are dealing with the stand-in, the Ganginho, of course, not their usual fifth who they lost. He hasn't been playing bad by any means. LNZ has a pretty clear distance ahead there on the scoreboard, as we can see. At that round where he got the ace, that kind of contributed massively to that. And I kind of forgot about that. That was the main reason Sangal even had a chance to get any rounds, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been they would have been screwed, because that gave them the chance to go in and break them in that next round, and then they got the third round off the back of it. So his ace is what led to basically all of the rounds they have.
And that's the problem. That is not reproducible. You cannot say to LNZ, right, just go get another ace and we'll roll with that. So, tough situation to find themselves in.
It's the old Nico go kill strategy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, LNZ isn't quite Nico, and well, B8 are looking to punish it fast into the B-bomb site. They want this map done and dusted. LNZ, though, this time stands firm. 2 quick kills, stall this hit out almost entirely, make it a triple before he goes down. Dean was getting excited for a moment. Amster able to grab one, but it's very quickly put to bed, and that is more like it from Sangal. A clean hold of the B-bomb site as they throw themselves a lifeline.
I suppose the triple will do, but I thought you heard the call for the ace from us for the moment, for a moment rather. Would have been good timing to just pop off with another ace out of nowhere, right just after we said you can't ask him to do that. It gives them a chance for life again, though, that triple kill. If they can chain together a few rounds at least, they should be getting another here. It's a half buy. Actually, it should be a full buy considering NPL and Amster, as far as I can tell, were pretty much double eco. No, they weren't. They both had over 2,000, so they could have taken the eco if they wanted, but they decided to put it together with that one rifle and loader as well. I mean, it makes sense. 12-5, they have the chance to keep the pressure on. They want to go for it. If not, they can take an eco, then they can get the guns out, and then they'll have a good few opportunities to put a close to this. But Sangal, on the other hand, just slowly build it up. 7 rounds, it's not impossible. We've seen bigger comebacks, especially when the scoreline went all the way to 16. So I won't completely count them out.
As the fake, and it's drawn a lot of heavy attention as well. 4 players out towards that A site. LNZ, what have you got for us this time? Quick kill onto one, burning alive though. Wrinkle will trade. Problem is the bomb has been dropped in that trade. So a lot of time bought as Kyubi catches one, and now Captain Kirker in a lot of trouble. Low on HP, has to go and hide behind back bench. The whole CT4 staring down his throat. There really is nothing more he can do here. Trying to knit an angle around those smokes, but he's got nothing, and Owner's rifle is too far away to find any impact either. Another success from Sangal, another little bit of magic from LNZ. Buys just enough time with his kill. Manages to get that bomb down, gets his team a 6th. And I mean, this is now starting to look a little bit better for Sangal, right? A little bit of consistency on the CT side. This is an eco for B8, an opportunity for them to stabilize that CT side economy. And maybe, just maybe, start dreaming a dream of OTD.
Yeah, it's maybe still a delusion rather than a dream at this point, but a couple of rounds turn into that dream. Right now, they need to be just fully focused on each round individually. This one mostly in terms of just hoping not to lose anyone so that they can ensure that that economy is going to be there for them to keep on buying up on all the players that they can potentially lose as these gun rounds go forward. Make sure they're never going to have any issues with utility and such. As we said, no room for mistakes. Any weaknesses in any of these buys going forward. The run boost doesn't quite work out. They do end up finishing off QB, but not before he does some serious damage. A couple of kills and assist on ensuring that his teammates are going to be able to clean that up as well. So there we go, 12-7, 5 more rounds. It's definitely getting into the sweaty territory here for B8, but they're only now getting back onto the rifles. So if this one goes south, I think is when they do start to worry.
Yeah, there's a slight smell of potential in the air, isn't there? It definitely feels like this is possible, but for Sangal, they need to keep finding this consistency, and, well, B8, I think we both know that at any point they really do feel like they have the ability to just shut it down. Counter players' aggression towards mid from the CT side early, but it's almost instantly put to bed. Amster with a very swift headshot onto one. Sorsal does well to trade it. It takes a lot of damage in the meanwhile, and that will be a trade that the T side are more than happy to give away. Owner lightning quick, able to deal with Youngster on the ramp as well. And that man advantage swings back the way of B8 in what could be the final round of Mirage.
This is a scary position now to be in. Sossel heavily tagged up as well. Nade actually ends up doing some damage on NPL just about avoiding that as he drops back out. It looks like they're just going to commit this to B. There's no one on the site right now. Sossel had rotated back in towards Kitchen. He's low health as well, so potentially an easy finisher for Owner, who's just creeping forward. If he gets taken out here without a kill, then they're pretty much screwed in a 2-on-4 retake. Molly goes down just in time. That allows LNZ to come back in through short and do some damage. Sossel even gonna go ahead and claim a quick frag, and they're still delayed by this Molly, so the rotation, as you can see, has already come into Kitchen. That off is in position, hoping to maybe pick one off and drop in towards Van. Unfortunately, isn't spotted. He had just turned to check his flank. And now Gangino to stand in the sub. He's got to do it all to keep them alive.
It's the first. Wrinkle not quite able to react in time. Fake the bomb plant though, and that will be it. MPL, it's a little sketchy to the last, but B8 get it done. They find their victory. They find their opposition.